Oh, I can't hear you yet.
What now?
Ah, there you are.
Yeah, cool.
Good.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You look exceptionally sparkly and beautiful this morning.
Thanks. Yeah, I had like the most amazing healing yesterday.
Oh, awesome. That's what I like to hear. I had a
Yeah.
really good feeling this week myself. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, let me um um I don't know if you know about these, but they're these little like white noise machines.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, I have super noisy neighbors and very thin walls, ceilings, and floors. So it's been a great help now with that.
Yes, yes.
Is mine really lagging a lot?
It was a minute ago, but it's better now.
Okay, cool. It does that, so just let me know.
Awesome. Yeah, mine from time to time will get a little meh. And my dogs are all in the house, so if the like extreme barking starts to happen, I'm just forewarning you that they might go there.
Okay, cool. Nice. Oh, it so looks like magical fairy world behind you.
Thank you. These are my curtains. I'm
Yeah. This is
sitting in this humongous love seat. It's like so big you could fit at least two of me in this thing. I mean, it's massive, but it's all cushy and around me. And this is my crochet spot as of late.
nice, nice.
I've been making these kind of things, ear warmers, and then you can pull them down.
And then it's neck warmer.
And then it's a cowl too. So like whichever way you want to go.
Oh, those are awesome. Yeah, I saw you knitting in class. That was really fun.
Yeah, it's really
I mean, crochet.
meditative and relaxing for me. It gets
Yeah.
me like into the moment, like right now. I'm like, okay, we're here and we're making something.
Yeah, I knit or well, it's been a really long time, but yeah, knitting was
Nice.
yeah, this is my curtain.
Ooh, I like very much. I like those colors. That design
Yeah,
is awesome too.
thanks. I had it custom made for my business stuff.
Wonderful.
Oh, right.
So how you been, girl? What do we
Yeah,
got?
thanks for meeting with me.
Oh, girl, my pleasure. Thanks for getting back to me.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciated that. Yeah, I guess so it kind of goes with the I'd love to share with you about the healing that I had last night.
Yes.
Because I've been getting a lot of messages recently about like being more mindful of who I'm sharing my experiences with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't really share my experience last night after it was a journey
Mm-hmm.
session. Um, I think. Cool. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I think this will make it less laggy. I just changed microphones.
Oh, we got a little laggy action now. Oh, and I lost your sound. I had you just a second ago.
Maybe I'll put it back.
Oh, I can hear you again.
Okay, so you can hear me.
Oh, yep, that's much better.
Okay, yeah. I this computer is this house only has DSL. It's like so frustrating. Is the video back yet?
Yes, the video's going.
Oh, cool. Well, I can't see the video, but that's good because I don't need to see myself. Okay. Cool. This is just distracting anyway. Let me just adjust that. Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, yeah, so the healing I had last night was really like this it was like a guided shamanic journey, but it was like extraction and soul retrieval.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so it was really this like and cord cutting in there.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, it was this like um really like at first I felt this like really deep like heart pain and sadness and connected to my friend Jarrett.
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize, my phone is making noise. Usually it's like completely on silent, but at 1 o'clock I think I'm getting an important call. Um,
Okay.
so I apologize for that.
No worries. I can deal with the ding ding ding, no problem.
um, cool. I think what I'm realizing as I explain it to you now is I think Jarrett and I were connecting over the loss of these previous lovers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we were really like connecting is, and it felt like a deep love connection, but I was like, something is wrong about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept getting spirit messages and like um every time I'd be like pulled closer to him, like something in me would just freak out.
Right, right.
Yeah. And I was like, this something is not right or okay. Um he lost a previous partner who died in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she she was a partner, but then she became a best friend.
Right, right.
And she not only looks similar to me, but we have similar like spirits.
Uh-huh.
So um and then so Nick is my previous partner who I am just absolutely in love with, and it's been like a whole thing about that for the last 3 years. And Nick is a Capricorn and Jared is also a Capricorn, and their birthdays are a day apart.
Universe, I love you, universe.
I know, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so the other thing is, so I think something happened where him and I, when it kind of like we revealed to each other how we felt about each other, I
Mhm.
think then we like, because at that same time Crystal's ghost had started talking to me, and I like gave him a message from her
Mhm.
that like only could have been, he was just like, are you fucking kidding?
He's like, is this happening right now?
Yeah.
This is
And
so what?
that was really important for me too, because it was a place where I was like, I know I can do this, but I didn't fully believe in myself.
Right.
And that was like the pivotal point where I was like, oh shit, like this is real. I'm doing something.
Yes, yes. Like I am an antenna and I do get signals. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that was like, um, that was happening if you remember when I came to the, oh, no, that was happening around the time when first met you guys and we were in the Reiki class.
Mm-hmm.
Was like when that started, like where him and I started connecting in that way.
Okay.
Um, but I think we like became corded and attached because it was like, oh wait, you're this person that I've been longing for.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I was like screaming and fighting because I'm like, but you're not doing the right things to be that person. So go away.
Right,
Right.
right. This
Um,
this is not a fuck yes for me.
yeah. Um, and like, but I mean, like, maybe it could have been a fuck yes, but it was like a not right now, which so
Right.
makes it not a fuck yes, right?
Right.
But then he, because of his um deep loss that he experienced for this woman, was just like, no, you can't leave. And it's like, okay, so you don't want to date me, but now you've trapped me in this dysfunctional, what feels like a relationship without all the positive aspects.
You're right.
So I'm like, this is just fucked up and doesn't feel good.
And I'm not sure this is working for me. Just gonna put that out there.
Um, so 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 we attach that way, but then he has this like amazing ability to crawl into people's dad stories.
Okay.
Like I've seen it with all of my girlfriends so far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like it so then he pretty much crawled into my dad's story, and it's like, well, now I fucking just hate you and want to murder you, and just like am so insanely like pissed off
Right.
because now you've like now I'm projecting my dad onto you
Mm-hmm.
because you've just crawled into my dad. Also, he's 12 years older than me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And um I think I shared with you before that when I was 16, I was sleeping with a 32-year-old, and he
Yeah.
was like feeding me meth and using that to control and manipulate and like fuck with my head.
Yeah.
And so like um Jarrett was really triggering a lot of that trauma too, which
Mm-hmm.
like helped me process and untangle that. And I feel like last night was a really pivotal point in me like healing and getting to a place of appreciation
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't really been able to be, I don't know, I've been like on the verge of it, but also not want like really resistant to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so then there's these two other aspects of it of at the time he was untangling a relationship with his previous partner who's one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then her and I also untangling all these feelings of competition and jealousy and like I want to be at a place where I can just be grateful and appreciative.
Mm.
And what was happening is he would like pull me closer through this like heart attachment.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'd kind of lean into like, okay, cool, where is this gonna go? He would just like run away
Okay.
and frequently go back. Okay, so how what I figured out when we did root chakra this last time is
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, you are building desire and passion with me, and then you're like feeding her with it.
Okay.
And that's the energy that I feel. And this is why I feel used. And this is why I don't feel good.
Right.
Because you're like in this co creative moment with me. And then you're just like, here, let me go just give this to someone else.
Right. Like the building process is with you, and then when he gets to a certain level, he's like, "All right, I'm out. I'm gonna go spend what I've built on this the other
My
person."
connection with this other person. And
Gotcha.
it's not that they're like even fucking, but it's just like an amount of intimacy.
Right.
And it's like I can be as empathetic as I want and understanding that this is a pattern of behavior due to trauma, but that doesn't mean that it feels good to me.
Right. I get that completely. I had
Um,
I had an experience earlier this week. Well, I'll wait till this is kind of relates to, so I just
yeah, go ahead. I'd like to hear it.
yeah, there's a friend of mine. Her name is Dina. She
Yeah,
has known me since I was a child, and we have kind of like a mother-daughter relationship,
yeah,
like I do with Jean Marie, my next door neighbor. And I've been pulling back from Jean Marie because of several reasons. There's just, as much as I love and adore her, she does remind me and ping me of my mother. They both do. They have different aspects within them that totally remind me of her. Um, there's a healing that needs to happen there that she's resistant to, and I've worked with her and worked with her and worked with her, and I'm friends with her, and I spent way too much time over there in October. And so I was like, okay, I'm pulling back because this is just not serving me. It's not serving you. It's not serving me. And it's just not, I can't go there as much as I have been. And so her and Dina have been hanging out a little bit. And I know that they've had a couple dialogues where I'm not necessarily the entire topic of the conversation, but that I am a topic of the conversation, and their disappointments and, you know, whatever. I don't know, like the intricacies of their particular conversation, except for,
feel the energy.
yes, yeah. And so Dina called me on Sunday night and was like, she owns the property where my studio is here in town, and she was like, well, I want you to come over and get your stuff. Since you're not going to be teaching classes in here right now. And I was like, that would be great. Yeah, I can't do it tonight, but I'll do it on Monday. And she was like, okay. And I could feel in her voice that there was something going on. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting. I wonder what that's going to be about. So Monday morning, I did my rituals, got all my animal stuff handled here at the house. And then I went over to see her, and it was intense, girl. And from different people that I'm not having an intimate type of relationship, and not a sexual intimacy, but like a relational intimacy relationship with, and who I value their opinion, and you know, I care what they think.
Yeah.
She's one of those people. And so I got there, and I can't remember how we got into the conversation, but it was like, I have never felt from you or about you the energy that I'm feeling right now. I don't know what you're into or what you're doing, but so, you know, like, whoa, I am not okay with you. And I was like, whoa, okay. So I said, well, I'd love to have a conversation and kind of unpack what's going on between us. And she goes, it's not us, it's you. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then she told me that, like, I dropped the ball with my classes, and and she wanted to have an argument with me about how many classes I actually taught in town.
Protection and ghosts, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And I was just like taking all this in. I was so like, whoa, but I was very soft and able to hear her.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, I handled that really, really well, even though I wanted to like punch her in the face. And when I left the building, then I was like a freaking mess. I was like, I am shaking. It started with an internal tremble that's becoming an external tremble, and I'm nauseated and I'm pissed off, and I feel like, what the hell? And there was one thing that she did bring up. There's several different people who watch my animals when I'm gone.
Yeah.
And one of the people that had watched the animals a couple different times, I hadn't paid him yet. And she was like, you're taking advantage of Jeremy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I haven't paid him yet. So like, as soon as I left there, that was the first thing I did actually, was go get some money for him. And I way overpaid him. Like a tip and a sorry, and handled that. And then I was still just like beating myself to death for that one imperfection in my mind, like I didn't handle my business. And then I was also like picking apart like that's not true and that's not accurate. And Jean Marie wanted to come over and have a conversation, and I was like, I don't even want to talk to you right now, because I know that 90% of what's going on between her and I is catalyzed between what conversations the two of you have had.
Yeah.
So I was a flipping wreck, right? I had the first like full-on body tremor seizure that I've had, that I couldn't stop for a long, that I haven't had like a physical experience like that in a really long time. And so I thought, oh my God, I feel like I'm dying. Something is not okay. I need to do something. So the next day I did the entire ecstatic awakening meditation, like from start to finish. And I did a toroidal field activation a couple times. And this was after I went to the cemetery because I didn't want to spew my energy all over the town because it was a lot of dark energy that I was just like, I know that this is triggering stuff that's not even part of this conversation. And it wouldn't ping me so much if I didn't care. First, if I didn't care what she thinks. And second, if I hadn't had experiences like this in the past that were traumatic for me. So I went out to the cemetery and I just let it out, girl. I screamed and hollered and kicked. I was like, these fucking motherfuckers, fuck this goddamn cock-sucking motherfucker. I mean, it was a total purge. So then I came back and did all those rituals. And I felt like maybe 20-30% better, like right at the ending of them. And then as the night went on, I just kept feeling better and better. And it was more easeful for me to move my body because I felt so like, I can't move my body. And then I was playing the piano and singing. And it was just a reinforcement as to how much, and I didn't even go into the story, right? Why I was doing the process. It was just like moving the energy, where I feel this in my body, where am I stuck at? Visual images would come in, lots of colors and sounds. But yeah, that was really, really intense. And I was like, holy shit, I took that all kinds of personally. And there were at least until Thursday, I was like, I don't know if I even want to see her again. And I know that there's, that this is probably coming from like an I miss you place where she just wasn't able to say, this is how I'm feeling. It was more like, you're fucking up and you've been fucking up. And she asked me if I was on drugs. That one totally pinged me. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm about to have 16 years of sobriety. No. What? Where is this coming from? So it was really fiery and intense for a couple of days there. And I just kept doing the exercises and the rituals and moving my body. And I went out and for a drive and played the song Castle. Come right to the castle. And just to the loudest I could, right? And I'm just singing it. And then I parked somewhere and beat the fuck out of the steering wheel and the roof of the car. And I'm kicking and everything. And I was like, you know what? Throwing a fit really does help. If you're in like a safe environment that's appropriate.
Yeah, I have no problem throwing a fit.
Right? It was just like, I didn't have to like project it towards any person at all, because it was like, no matter who in the world would treat me like that, if I care about them and, it would have affected me that way. I would have felt that. It's not about her. It's about like the interaction that happened. Then like anybody had done that to me and I'd be like, whoa, what? No. So that was a huge unpacking. And then I had acupuncture on Thursday, and on my way home from acupuncture, I have the book, The Four Agreements, like on hard copy and in paper and on an ebook as well. But I downloaded it on Audible and listened to it on the way home. And it was like such a reinforcement and a reminder, and so timely and synchronistic, like exactly what I needed to hear about the spells we put on each other and the way that we use our word as either a beautiful, loving magic or a dark, divisive magic, and how to protect ourselves from that. And it was like, holy shit, how I know I've read this book like 5 times. How can I forget this stuff so fast? So I listened to it again last night, and as I was going to sleep, I didn't finish the whole thing, but it was just so powerful of a reminder of how powerful our word is, the energy behind the word, that's like the creative force as we're speaking things into life or destroying things, like that double-edged sword. I was just like, holy shite balls, because I totally wanted to go to like, well, it's not me, it's her. So that's why it just like was so like profound when you sent me that message. And I was like, oh my God, we are so going through the same shit right now. It's insane. Cause I just wanted to put it all and blame her and defend myself and like explain myself. And then I went to a place where I was like, I don't have to explain myself. I went back through, I completely like got a hold of every person who was in my classes, let them know that I was done. And for a while, I needed to take personal care of myself. There were responses from all these people. And yeah, so that was a heavy unpacking, and I'm still working on it. You know what I mean? It comes off in layers.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling way softer and less like going over and like harming these people.
Yeah.
Way less. because I know that in harming anyone else, I'm actually harming myself and I'm harming the collective. And that's
Yeah.
not what I want to do. So I had to just like be with myself and release that before I interacted with any of these people, because I knew that I was carrying so much residual resentment and
Yeah.
anger that I would do the same thing that they had done to me, which just
Yeah.
perpetuates that cycle. And I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. And that's why I blocked them, because I'm like, no, I'm this isn't going to be helped by talking with you. We have tried that for the last year and we are in the same place. Like, clearly what's the problem is that I shouldn't be talking to you about this.
Off.
Yes.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I take that opportunity at times too to be like, I need some space from you. I can love you, but I can't love you in my face right now. I'm going to have to love you from way over there. That's
Exactly.
what I
And
got.
I know what's funny is I know that so my friend Therese, I know that right now I'm pretty sure she feels like, but I didn't do this to you when you were like in my face. And it's like, that you didn't set a boundary when you should have. Not
Right.
my problem. Like, yeah, if I was disrespecting your boundary, then that was your place to set the boundary. And like,
Right. And to
uh,
reinforce it so that I know where it's at. Or
yeah,
tell me when I
exactly.
cross it.
Yeah. Um, and but anyway, yeah, one of the big things that happened last night was this kind of realization of that, like, so I've had this like a lot of fear of rejection and a lot of fear of like actually, being intimate and romantic with people I care about. And so that's led me to be in partnerships with people I don't want to be with.
I
Yeah.
understand that completely.
And one of the things I was shown last night in this healing was um, how when I'm rejecting other people, I somehow flip it into their rejecting me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of just that this isn't a right match right now in this moment.
Right.
And, but it's so interesting, like, it's just all these, like, so all these energetic concepts and like, everything, and kind of what really, like, threw me down this, like, spiritual, and I don't mean, like, down to the ground, I mean, like, down the rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah, of the spiritual waking up as fast as I could path. A big part of that was this partnership with Nick. And him and I, for an entire year, when I first moved to Portland, we were able to like just like this, like, oh, we're ebbing right now, lean into it. Oh, we're flowing right now, lean into it. Oh, we're ebbing right now, that's cool, and just like this dance of being able to allow the ebbs and the flows and not having to my favorite thing is like when I would be like shutting down because of my like sexual PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
he would just be like, complete and utter permission, you don't have to go into the story right now.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was just like kind of brought this awareness of like how to just be there for someone
Mm-hmm.
in the moment to help them through it without, because if someone goes into the story, you like actually just have to do extraction and cell retrieval at that time, because that's what going into the story does, is it brings you further into the trauma. And
Yeah.
so, but it was like, oh, how you can show up and be supportive and just like allowing someone to be where they are without the story.
Right. Or
um
without trying to like shift where they're at, just
yeah,
letting them go through the process. I
yeah,
see as a society, often we're so uncomfortable with someone else going through their process that we're trying to comfort them or silence them or
well, I mean,
change
I think
it.
that people, I don't really identify with society who does that. So I try not to say we because that energetically connects me to them.
True. Thank you. I'm working on being impeccable with my word. Thank you for that.
You're
You're
welcome.
right. Society out there, the paradigm that we're shifting,
Yeah, exactly.
that we're not part of anymore.
Yeah, well, one of my big things is I try to like, I'm like, okay, so when I guess I mean it's kind of like this balance of like my big thing is like having been looked at as weird, and I think a lot of us have that projection from society, and
Yeah.
then so but when we bring it into communities where this is actually our norm,
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to change that paradigm. So then when we go back out, we can be like, yeah, actually, no, you guys are weird because you're not looking at your trauma.
Right.
Like,
Like,
so
I love
many,
y'all and everything, but y'all got some work to do. Just
yeah,
saying.
exactly. Um, yeah, because because it's hard for us to. I mean, not anyway. For me, it's sometimes hard when I go back into the normal.
Right. Into Muggle land. It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
oh, you guys
That's
are
the moment.
so, you don't even have the eyes to see what's right in front of you. I feel so
Mhm.
bad for you. You must be having a rough time because there's a lot more out there than what like your blinders will allow you to see.
Right. Um, yeah, okay, so with this previous partner, okay, so things are just so interesting in my life. Um, okay, so I just met with Claire the other night, and we talked about our experiences with our friend Max.
Uh-huh.
Her and I, like, legit, we're both Isis soul signatures, and he, like, did, like, hanging out with Max did the exact same activation, changed our path in the exact same ways. We were in the exact same place before that, and it just um yeah, it was this like really validating conversation, and also I might be moving into their basement.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
um
cool. I like that basement.
right.
I
Yeah,
really like that basement. That's amazing confirmation, though, to get from Claire, to see the pattern. Not only that the two of you had like such similar, if not exact experiences, but that it reinforces the fact that he's playing that pattern and seeking out individuals who fit into those, you know what I'm saying, that are similar, like
yeah.
like the story that you said with you and
Also,
Claire.
so he's Horus.
Oh,
um
okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
I even had Claire confirm that, and we were like, my feeling was more like maternal, and it was like, well, yeah, because he's and it was just really cool because it was like uh he was like, no, I want to be Osiris, and I'm like, sorry, honey, you're just like, all right, Osiris.
Sorry, babe. You're a little bit of Horace, okay?
Like, I know you want to be, probably because you have that, like, that knight who wants to be like his dad, but like,
Yeah.
sorry, honey. So Nick is actually Osiris soul signature,
Okay.
and so that's why um like him and I had this energy that, okay, so basically, essentially, the Magdalene manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
That's like legit what was happening between him and I, and we had like no idea what was going on. It was just like we were having sex, the most amazing fucking sex ever, and it was just like so fucking activating and just like and it was just like and like we're both like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, my human brain can't wrap itself around this.
Like, what do we do with all this that we've just created? What do we send it? Because this is
Yeah.
massive.
Well, but not even knowing like what we were doing, and just like it just was happening. And
Mhm.
then when we tried to actually like be in partnership, it was like I was like, oh my God, I have all this trauma that's gonna attack you. I need to run away and go heal this as fast as I can. And
Right.
that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. And so my guides, I thought he was gonna come back in 3 days. And my guides were like, haha, it's gonna be 3 years. And I was like, yeah!
You're like, wait, what? What do I sign up for here?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It was, but the last 3 years have been so ridiculously important
Yeah.
in my life and in my story and in my big thing is about letting go of the trauma story and following the God story, because I think there's a misunderstanding in the spiritual community when it's like, oh, you shouldn't have any story. And I'm like, no, 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 then you're just like at whims going wherever.
Right, right.
You have to have you have to know where you're going. So
I'm
that
in agreement with that.
yeah. Um, so for me, like stepping into Isis's story and knowing that and like the parts of it that resonate with me, I've been able to like have a clear picture of where I'm going, and it's been this like very guiding light. And then but then I've recently kind of started I started my magic program, which is the Isis initiation, which is teaching other people how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I started kind of like, I don't know, I'm still like struggling financially. So there's that part that's like, maybe I'm just crazy and like what, and like starting to doubt myself and hate myself again and all those like, the insecurities and the trauma stories and stuff like that. I feel like they had been resurfacing, but then meeting and talking with Claire, like I knew talking to her would be healing, but I had no idea like this, where it was just like, no, this is real. The same thing happened to her.
Like freaking confirmation, baby.
Yeah. Anyway, so like, okay, so my guides made me go and like sit in my trauma with Nick, and I was at his presentation where his partner right now, they're engaged.
Mm-hmm.
A little pain there. So yeah, but I have this like, anyway, the healing last night totally just was like, nope, this is what you do and this is how you do it and this is how you talk to him. And I was like, I feel like, okay, cool, I'm back on my mission, this is what I'm doing. But there's this like, there has been this the reason him and I separated is because I didn't have space for honoring his previous relationship before me at that point.
Gaia.
And so it's this like, and that's what's coming up between my friends, Jarrett and Therese, is I'm like, I like so honor your relationship, so honor you as humans, and there is like a demonic monster inside of me that just like cannot handle it. And it's like really, I feel wrapped up in my dad's narcissism and the like ego narcissism of just like, no, me.
What about me? Right?
And I'm like, it's just such an old paradigm that I like don't live in and I don't believe in. And I'm totally fine being in that paradigm and living in that paradigm. Like Nick and I were in that paradigm for a whole year, totally cool, but only because we weren't officially dating.
Right.
And allowed to sleep with other people. And we were, what I realized is we were like exuding our codependency with other people, which was protecting each other from our codependent behaviors.
Uh-huh.
And then when we started dating, it was like, oh shit, now it's just us here with our codependent shit that's not being on other people.
Exactly. There's no other filter over here that I can lay that on so that I don't bring it here. Now it's just us.
And so I was like, oh my God, I need to run away so that I'm not like putting this on you because I love you so fucking much. And I just need to like go actually heal this because I thought I was at a place where I thought talking about it was healing it.
Right.
And now I'm like, oh wait, there's this whole transmuting thing. Like, and bringing in the light. This whole
Totally.
So I mean, I just
No.
I remember you sharing your experience um of like a close friend and a partner maybe getting together after you had separated
Mm-hmm.
from that partner, and I just
Yeah, that was a challenging. I've had that two different times in my life.
oh wow.
Like the best friend getting together with the long-term boyfriend post us being together.
Yeah.
And that was huge. And then my ex-husband and my former best friend who Khalidum was named after and was my birth coach and all the, I mean, got
Uh
together. And woo! Because I used to be of the belief that like once you've been mine, you have to pine for me for the rest of your life, even if I don't want you. You know? And that way they were breaking the rules. I was like, this is no, hell the fuck no.
I have to turn the heat on.
Okay. So that was a major stuff to work through. And it took time, girl. It took a long time before I could have a decent conversation with, and I wasn't really able to go through it with the first people because David died in a car accident
Oh wow.
right before I even found out that they had been messing around because they were
Oh,
together in the car when the accident happened, and Lori
is that how
survived.
you found out?
Yeah, Lori survived and he
Uh,
died, and Lori wound up being pregnant with his baby. And yeah, she called me over, I want to say like 2 months after he passed away to lay that on me. And I was just like, and the funny thing is I have the memory of knowing and getting the information prior to driving over to her house that she was either going to tell me that she and David had been screwing around behind my back, or that she was pregnant. I knew that one of those two was coming to the surface. I just didn't know it was.
you didn't know it was both.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And that was heavy.
So they had been doing it behind your back.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the ex-husband and the best friend also, was it behind your back, or was that
It
just
was like we were already divorced, and I knew that he had started dating a girl named Rachel,
yeah.
but he didn't tell me that it was Rachel, my Rachel. I found out through Khalidum when they were going to get married. She came home from a visit from there and she's like, Daddy's marrying Auntie Rachel. And I was like, no, honey, you're confused. He's marrying a woman named Rachel, but it's not Auntie Rachel, honey. There's more than one person named Rachel in the world. And she got very upset with me. No, it's Auntie Rachel. Little bitty thing, you know? And so I called his mom to say, okay, I need some clarification here. And then I felt wholly so betrayed by her, especially because she knew why I left him. And I was like, are you freaking cray cray, woman? I like, what are you doing? Like, I felt like she was choosing him over me. And I thought that there was like a choice at the time. Like, he abused us. That's why we left.
Yeah.
And now you're choosing to go be with this man who did horrific things to your goddaughter, my daughter. What? But I got to a place, it took a while, but I did get to a place where I was like, at least it's Rachel. I know that she loves my daughter and will take good care of her. Which was also like a misconception because she had woundingness. We were all in the military together. and we all served overseas, and we all had PTSD from it. And I think I was the only one at that point who was like aware that I had PTSD and was working on it. They weren't like at that awareness level yet that like all these destructive things that they were doing and saying to others and to themselves were part of that residual from being in a in a horrific place and not having anywhere to put that energy afterwards. But that was, whew, I can still feel that shit in my body now. Like I can feel like that in my throat talking about it. But we got to a place where Lori and I are friends on Facebook. I don't check in with her very often, but like it's she's there if she needs me or I need her or something. And that was like the first young one where David died. And then Gerald and I haven't talked for a long time, but when Rachel died, he and I were in contact a lot, like before she passed away and after, because she had this stalker that stalked her for like a year and then found her and killed her. And I think that's one of the reasons that Khalidam gets so pinged anytime my stalker shows up and starts doing his thing. She's lost one mother.
Oh man.
And so like anytime he shows up on the surface, she gets very, very protective, and it pings her childhood trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, we're just all wrapped up bundle of stuff.
Right.
We all been through some stuff, but I know today that I'm of the understanding that like I made agreements before I got in this body that I was going to go through certain things because I came with a mission to heal this fucking place. Like I was going to break that wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you have to heal stuff within yourself. So you have to experience the stuff.
Yeah.
So apparently I was like, I'm going to be a spirit cray warrior woman. Give it to me. Because my life has been like, whoa, girl. I've healed enough stuff in this one lifetime for, man, probably 5, 7, 12 different people.
Right? Sounds like it.
But it is work. It is challenging work. And like, the other thing that I discovered that like came into the field this week was that I know today that I have to heal my story and my stuff and my trauma and my choices and my whatever, my everything on all 4 levels. I have to heal it on the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Because if I don't, it gets stuck in one of those 4 areas.
Can I write that down?
Please, yes, do. That like came in as a download the other day, and I was like, "Oh, thank you, universe."
Yeah.
Thank you, guides.
I'm like, it sounds like one of those really important things that you forget in 5 minutes because the ghosts are like, no, don't look at that.
Exactly. Like, no, don't pay no attention to the man behind the corner.
Exactly.
Like, wait, I'm trying to get to know that person. Come on now.
You said mental?
Yes.
Physical?
Mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual.
Yeah. Spiritual. Okay. Must heal on all 4. Otherwise, it gets stuck in 1.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Cool. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is it's not about what these previous partners did, it's about how they did it. Yes. And if they had come to you and said, look, I'm sorry that it didn't work out between us, like we're so madly in love, and can you like bless this relationship and hold space for it?
Yeah. That's exactly it. And not that I wouldn't have had like an initial maybe 24-hour shock.
Totally.
I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
But, like that is I can get over that much more rapidly if someone comes to me with authentic transparency. Like this is where I'm at. There's not a lot in this world that I can't accept in a human being if they just come to me and tell me like, this is where I'm at. This is the best I got, or this is where I'm headed. Can you support me? Can you bless me? Can you be there with me through this. And then I'm like, oh yeah, heck yeah, let's do this deal.
Right.
But if you come to me, or if I find out from an alternate, if you're
So
hiding,
yeah.
and then it just, it gets discovered, then there's the unpacking of the thing, plus the fact that you were hiding it from me, and then all the stories that are behind, like I wasn't included, or I wasn't told, or I was rejected, or I was abandoned, or I was with, information was
Totally.
withheld from me.
So for me, like with the situation, so that's how I tried to approach it with when things became clear with Jarrett and I was like, oh, okay, like, cool, I'm gonna have these conversations. And she, like, where I feel hurt is, and she like refuses to admit this, although it's just like obvious to everyone. Her response was this, oh wait, no, mine, and then just used all her manipulative, like, codependent things that she already had latched in there. And I was like, this isn't cool. um so I feel like that's what I'm having the hardest time getting over.
Mm-hmm.
And then also him allowing that was just this, I'm sorry if you're going to allow that. And then my authentic self that was like placed on the table was just casually discarded, to the point of triggering me into like a psychotic break, where then you were like, oh well, see, this is why this is all happening. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm responding in this way because you already did that. Like, don't tell me that this is why you did that. Like, so and then like he said things um like, oh, but I was with her first, so, but of course, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, 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 no. That was a choice. I was like, you made a choice to prioritize her feelings and emotions and her needs over me. Like, you could have done both.
Right.
And like, so, so I messaged, like, so I asked Nick for some, like, hey, can we have a conversation? And then he responded back that was like, oh, I don't think that would be very respectful to my current relationship, we're engaged. And I was like, okay, well, in secure relationships, previous partners aren't threats. And if it does feel that I am a threat to your relationship, that might be something you want to look at, because you're in love with me and we're in love. That's just what I'm saying, but whatever. So, one.
Just saying.
um, so, so you might want to look at. I mean, it could be something you might want to look at.
Right.
And I was like, this could be a very healing conversation for us both. I was like, if you also feel that it could be a healing conversation, is there a way you feel that both could happen, that all people could be happy in this situation and having this conversation
Right.
happen? And just like the holding the integrity of the space.
Right. Perfection. And
It's
that's
just
challenging when someone, like, when you're ready to do some healing work and the other person's like not ready. That's challenging to sit in the, like, okay, I guess I have to be patient or wait until they're ready. Like, we can say our piece and our part, like whatever, like in that moment.
Yeah.
But then, like, we have to be, because if they're not available, they're not available, right? So then we have to be like, okay, now I get to work on my patience and my ability to, like, accept people where they're at, because damn, this is hard.
Uh-huh.
And that's challenging.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful, it's beautiful to put it out there, to be vulnerable and say, hey, I'd like to have this with you. And then know that there might be that they have free will, so they can say yes or no depending on their level of healing and what they're into and what they're ready for. and then we have to accept where they're
Well,
at.
no, we don't have to do anything.
Well, we have to like,
No, we don't have to do anything.
true that. We choose to either accept where they're at or to push further
Mm-hmm.
and try harder,
Yeah.
and then evaluate what are, why we are, uh what's the
The
word?
intentions and the motivations and
Yes, thank you. Like,
yeah.
what's our motivation for this? And is it required? Is my healing dependent upon somebody else being able
Well,
to
and so
track
that's
me?
yeah, and so that's I feel like that's the shift where I'm coming at is like it's not about my healing anymore. It's just about this conversation wanting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it I feel like it's all been training to help hold space for other people's relationships and honor their relationships,
Yeah.
and also learning how to hold boundaries and just like having trust. um yeah. um I don't
That
know.
maybe having trust that the healing will come, even if it doesn't like look like what we.
No, it's more about like, so for me it's more like, so how do I be with the partner of my dreams, and I want to be with someone and allow them the space to connect with their previous I want to feel secure
Right. Okay.
in our attachment and allow them to have the space to um, be friends with other people and be friends with their exes and not feel threatened by that.
Right.
And
Right.
so it's like, for me there's this very distinct shift. So like, if I'm so for me, I don't believe in like the other woman. I think everyone is a free person and that we can choose to be who we want to be with at any time. And I want to, but then when I get into a relationship, I feel this like, wait, no.
Mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And that possessiveness, like, I don't really like how, like, I feel like I'm really trying to heal that possessiveness, um, and how to get there. And maybe it's just having more conversations about it as I move into partnership with someone.
Right. Right. Yes. Sounds like what you're saying is like the two things that you are working on is allowing yourself, like witnessing yourself where you're at with your level of possessiveness and jealousy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
healing those within yourself. Because what we
Yeah.
heal in ourselves, we heal in others. Like it happens. Like people, it's a reflection out to the world for other people to see that this is possible. And
Totally.
these are tall orders, girl. I work on them still to this day. I am so much better than I used to be. Woohoo! But I find that I have to, this stuff is stuck so into my physical cells
Mm.
that in speaking it, like that emotional freedom technique works really good for me. Like, I'm feeling fucking jealous. What the hell? Right? And then speaking how I want to feel as if it were the thing. And
Yeah.
also, there's like a self-pleasure magic meditation that I've been doing recently
Okay.
that like you set the intention at the beginning. So maybe like the intention could possibly be, my intention is to release jealousy and um
Mm.
God, what was the other one? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. uh
And bring in, or no, are we just talking about releasing?
Right. What were the two we were working on though?
You know, I should probably write this down because I'm gonna forget about it the second I. Okay. Um, communication.
It was possessiveness. There we go. Jealousy and possessiveness. So like,
Uh,
so you set an intention at the beginning, and the intention needs to be something that can serve both you and the universe at whole, like all beings.
yeah.
And so then you set the intentions, like my intention, this is just like an example of, and you can fine tune this as to however you want, but the example would be like, I am releasing jealousy from my cells. That's my intention with this practice. And you can make any intention that you want to, because like pleasure and sex magic are so powerful in creating things. And then you set the space.
So I'm releasing jealousy and possessiveness. What was the rest of that sentence?
Releasing jealousy and possessiveness out of my cells. And as much out of the collective consciousness as possible with this energy that I'm about to build.
Okay. Cool.
And then do your rituals and set the space so that it's like, and make sure that you're going to have private time where you're not going to be interrupted. Okay.
Yeah.
And it took me about 20, 30 minutes each time I do this meditation. And then gather all, like, light your candles if you want music going, beautiful scents in the air, incense, flowers, like the whole physical space somewhere that's feeling very safe and very nurturing and beautiful. Mm-hmm. And then start seated and gather whatever you might need to like give yourself pleasure. Yeah. And it can be pleasure from like very subtle, gentle, like hardly, just moving your body around kind of pleasure, to full on like self-pleasure, orgasmic, sexual, passionate, rah. Okay. Yeah. So anywhere in between these three or these two. So get everything that you'll need to give yourself pleasure, whether it's like body oils or soft things to touch, or a yoni egg or some lubrication, like whatever you might need. And then I want you to drop into after you set the intention, I want you to drop into your roots and get really deeply grounded. Do the grounding meditation if you'd like. Okay. And then begin to pleasure yourself in whatever way comes in organically, and call in your guides and guardians when you're doing your rituals to assist you in this process. Okay. And then start from your roots. I start from my feet. I think of because oftentimes when I'm doing a meditation, I start just like at the perineum and work my way up. But with this one, I start with the feet and the legs. And so that's a fairly good length of body area to focus on, to really get grounded, deeply rooted in the body. And then start to like organically bring yourself pleasure, whatever that looks like, touching, stroking, penetrating, moving your body, breathing, like whatever comes in organically, just allow yourself to be as free as possible with this. Okay. And when it starts to get like, you're like really starting to feel some type of something. Yeah. Activate that root chakra. Okay. And bring that energy into the root chakra to allow it to clear and swirl through and dance in that chakra until that chakra feels like it is having a direct conversation with the pleasure that you're bringing your body. Okay. And once you feel that in the root chakra, then bring it up to, the sacral chakra. Okay. And spend as much time in each of these places of the body and each of these spheres of the body as you need to, because you might like be in your sacral and you'll feel something like behind your left ear. And that's, just take note of the sensations that appear, the thoughts that come through, and we're not going to do anything with them, right? Except like if there's a tension in the body, go ahead and tap and whatever, but we're not attaching to We're trying to stay as soft as possible and witnessing ourself, giving ourselves pleasure and receiving pleasure at the same time. And what that and how deep of a contrast that is to just walking down the road.
Yeah.
So once you feel that all swirled into the sacral chakra and filled up and really expanded both front and back, take it up into the solar plexus. Same thing there. You might do a little bit of fire breath in the solar plexus. I have find that like going from the sacral to the solar, it tends to build slowly. So I do some fire breath to help increase the motion and the sensation.
Huh.
And we're continuing to pleasure ourselves through this whole time, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Up to the heart, and really infuse love and compassion and acceptance for yourself and for creation as a whole, in unison with the pleasure. So with the pleasure, build that sensation of love and genuine, total, full, radical acceptance of yourself. Whatever other sensations are coming through, we're radically accepting it. Full on love. And then bring it into your throat and really, really allow your voice to come through in whatever way that's in, if it's breathy, if it's sounds, if there's words, like all of that, let that come through and let that stay there and swirl as long as it needs to. And then bring it up to your third eye. And we're continuing to pleasure, right? The whole body's receiving pleasure, and we're just focusing and uniting it with the energy of each sphere as we go up. And then once you get to the crown, breathe up and I use my hands, breathe up the central column, all that pleasure up through all the chakras, up through all the toroidal fields, up and out to the universe, and then breathe down the outer pillars and reinvigorate that into your body. And do that at least 3 times, breathing up, sharing it out, drawing it down the pillars, back into the roots. Draw it up, out the crown, sharing with the universe, down the pillars, back into the root system. And then just allow yourself, and then and as we're doing that, once you get to the crown, if you haven't already got to a climactic or a really like woohoo intense state, allow it to build to that. And then as it, it'll come to a culmination, and then allow it to soften and allow it to wash down like water or like sun, heat from the sun, coming down, back down through the crown, through the third eye, through the throat, through the heart, solar plexus, sacral, back into the roots. Finish in your roots. And then when you're finished, just journal or video record yourself or go dance around and do something awesome afterwards.
Cool. The place I've spent a lot of lives as a man, so the place I have a difficult time with is not being like, okay, done.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, sit in the building and the
yes, in the slow, because we don't want it to be like a blowtorch, right?
Yeah.
We want it to be like a coal that we're breathing on. Because you're breathing deeply throughout this whole experience. You're so present, right? You're so present in your body. It's almost as if the divine masculine and feminine inside of you, or the receptive part of you and the projective part of you are almost separated for a moment. And the receptive part of you is witnessing the projective part of you pleasuring you. So you can reflect that back to yourself, honor yourself.
Okay. So the practice is really balancing, receiving, receptive, and projective within the self.
Yes. It's like balancing the divine masculine and feminine, or the divine projective energy and the divine receptive energy as you throughout the entire toroidal field system. And and in this process, you're activating the auric toroidal field with those breaths at the end.
Yeah.
This is a super, super balancing. And it for me, it brought a whole Shai Mahabaha, a lot to the surface. I've done a whole lot of writing in the last 2 weeks, girl. Holy crap.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it's serving me really, really well.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. It's amazing for me as well. Like I get to witness because like downloads are coming in right now, like as we're
Oh
speaking. So
yeah.
I get to witness the stuff coming out of my mouth going, oh, write that down, Aria. You
Yeah,
need that
right?
too.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there's a saying that like we learn the best when we learn with the intention of teaching.
That is so true. I love that statement. I haven't heard that before. That is fantastic. I'm gonna have to write that one down for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So um yeah, so that just it makes sense that like when the when you have that like teaching environment, then you have the like or the sharing, environment, you have the like ability for that channel to really be like, yep, I know it. Like it's yeah.
Totally. When I first got sober, I used to call them aha moments where I'd like share in a meeting and I'd be like, oh my God, did you guys just hear that? Because that was totally not me. I don't know where it came from, but that was an aha moment.
I love it.
I have my thing is set automatically to record these meetings, and
Oh,
if you want to, I can either, and I'll probably watch it afterwards just for my own
okay.
edification.
Yeah,
But if you want to, I can save this recording and send it over to you. So if there's anything you missed in writing down, or if you
sure.
go over it later, then you're more than welcome. And if not, then I can just delete it after I've viewed it.
Yeah, I would love to have a copy of it.
Okay, great. What I will do is put it on YouTube on a unlisted so that just you and I can have it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's okay with you?
Sounds great.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Cool. Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yay, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank
Woo!
you.
I love healing.
Oh, me too. I love you, and I really appreciate your divine wisdom and your space holding. And thank you.
It's my pleasure, beloved. I know we went a little bit past your phone call time. I apologize.
Yeah, it's
Um,
cool. I didn't get the phone call, so I'll have to check in with them.
okay, good. I'm glad you didn't miss it at least.
Yeah.
But if you're feeling complete, then we'll go ahead and close this so that you can go ahead and check on those things for you. And I've got a couple things I need to do around the house. I'll get this downloaded and sent over to YouTube, and then I'll send you a message on Facebook Messenger so that you have access to it. And don't
Awesome.
hesitate to reach out again later if you would need, any more unpacking of this stuff. I'm
Yeah,
gonna stay home this weekend. The weather is just way too treacherous to cross the mountain from this side.
I bet.
I was gonna go to Reiki too, but I'm gonna wait until she does it again in like April or something. So
Reiki 2 this weekend.
yes, 1, 2, and 3 are all this weekend if you would like to participate. 2 is on Sunday, I believe.
Oh, okay. 2 is only one day, right?
Yeah,
Is
all,
that-
all day Sunday from like 11 to 7, I believe.
I really want to, but I have $0.
I know what you mean. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what? I have already paid for mine. If you have the space and time to go ahead and go.
Where is it?
It's up at the temple.
At the time on Sunday.
I'll let if you have the
Okay.
space and time
Let
to
me
you can
yeah, let
think
me think
about it.
about it. I do have plans with a friend on Sunday.
Okay.
When does she do them again?
April. They'll be doing them again in April.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you don't go, then I'm prepaid for April. And if
Okay.
if that's something that you're really passionate about and I can assist you in the financial department at all, if I have that
Thank you.
availability, I am
Yeah.
totally here for that.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me sit with it for a moment because April might be a better
Okay.
um, time because I don't, um, as much as I want to go, it might not be I might not be able to show up fully present for it.
That's where I'm at too. So I was really glad that the weather kind of helped push me towards that direction, because I'm like, I really, really am processing a lot right now. And I don't feel like I'm going to receive the full download if I go.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
just
So
chew on that for a minute and hit me back. I won't send her
cool.
over
Thank
anything
you.
until I hear from
Okay,
you.
cool. Yeah, and I want to thank you. I really appreciate that and that opportunity. And it really helps remind me that I'm not alone.
That's right, girl. We are so held. You are held here.
Thank you.
I just want to tell you how much I love and appreciate you, how much I
Um,
have learned from you,
um,
and how much I have grown to just adore your beautiful spirit. And
um,
thank you. Thank you for allowing me to like be part of our healing
yeah.
and growth, and
Um,
to witness your authentic transparency. It's truly an honor. Really it is.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so cool. I was like, Arya's so cool.
All right, sweetheart.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna
I
hop
feel
off
complete.
and down. Okay, good. Thank you. And I am as well. I'm gonna hop off and download all of this and send it over to you. And I will be looking forward to hearing from you again soon. My doggies are about to have a cow. They're like, we need to see, woman. Damn it. Will you get on?
Okay, cool. Well, thank you.
My pleasure, beloved. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
You too.
All
Bye.
right. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.